Oh, nice. Good. Oh, nice shot.
Welcome to HomeFront Sit Rep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe you.
You can find HomeFront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sit Rep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome, everybody, to a Sunday edition of HomeFront Sit Rep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you, sir?
Good, man. Loving the new intro. A lot of infantry representation, a lot of Osprey representation. And then, for me, it's been a whirlwind of emotions sport-wise for me this week. Had a nail-biter overtime win at the Cyclones game yesterday. Duke lost a nail-biter last night. And then the Yukon women just sealed another championship for them. So great for that team. But, yeah, other than that, ready for the week to start. And, 2 more days, and I'm off to the Northeast for a little while with Miles.
Heck yeah. Miss Candace, how are you?
Today I'm doing great. It's been a horrible week. I've had my flare-up since last weekend has went until probably this morning. And so I woke up feeling great. It's still raining though. And of course down in Shepherdsville is like the town is closed down. But I'm doing good. And yeah, I was looking away and then I looked up and I was like, whoa. totally new intro, and I freaking love it. Like, I was super excited. He was sitting here, and I was like, "Oh, hold on!" I was like, "This is different."
Oh yeah, it's completely different. I mean,
love it.
I went in and I was like, and then I was talking with Gunny. I was like, should we do a rock intro or should we do a rap intro? You know, and then so I went and created that song last night through AI. So I have to give AI a shout out because it created the song. But then I was like piecing together like videos and stuff like that, and I'm like, all right, I like it. It's cool, and I'm still tweaking it, but
Yeah.
I was like, man, it fits. I'm so ready for this friggin' rain to be out of here. And then they're talking about friggin' frost. I'm like, dude, it's April. Why is it going to be frosting? But then again, I remember snow a few years back on Easter. So it's just like, man, it's a good old Kentucky weather. It's like a female. We got multiple personalities.
Mother Nature is either really, really drunk or really upset right now, and I don't know which one it is. But
maybe a little bit of both.
Right.
Female for sure, because she is. I mean, but no, I looked up and I saw the three of us, and I was like, wait, I'm not wearing that, and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what's up, Martin Cub from Triple Threat Vets podcast. Yeah, I was like, man, let's change up the intro a little bit. I love our old intro, which we've had it for over 2 years, and I modified it just slightly. Took some stuff out of it and added some stuff. But then I was like, let's just do a complete new one. I'm still
more personal.
Well, we're still going to use the other one, but we're going to have. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. I like
just, when we get bored, you can just mix it up a little bit. That's all it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Options.
So today, this is the first episode since the 1st of April. So April is the month of the military child. So, it was established in 1986, aims to acknowledge the contribution and challenges faced by military children who often experience frequent moves, family separations, and reintegration difficulties. A common way to show support is by wearing purple. As you can see, I'm wearing purple today, as it combines the color of the different military branches: Army green, Marine Corps red, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard blue. So that is why I am wearing purple today, because it is the first episode of the month of the military child. So, Gunny, you had children while you were in the service, and you can touch on this. It's hard on the family, especially the children, when mom or dad has to deploy. It's very hard.
Yeah, well, and so Micah was born the year after I got injured. So a lot of his first year was my recovery year, right? Learning how to walk and, doing the speech therapy and cognitive therapies and all that stuff. And then April moved home, I don't know, 2 years before I retired. So, even though I never deployed again, we were apart. So I only got to see them on, leave or 96s or whatever. And then Miles was born my last year on active duty. So still separate for them for the first year, right? And just them getting to know me as a dad that's going to be here all the time instead of a part-time, hey, he's here for 3 days, he's here for 4 days, he's here for a week, and then he's gone, for 3, 4, or even a year with Miles. And the good thing with him is he was a baby and really didn't understand anyway. So I've been here for most of his, 14 years that he's been born. But yeah, it's hard. And, I can't imagine what some of the families go through on the deployment, right? When the dad can't be present. And this is the interaction you get right now with Zoom or, FaceTime or whatever other, video conferencing there is out there. And that's how they get to know their parents is, when, they get to call in on a video.
Yeah. So I'm lucky in an aspect that, I didn't have children when I was in the military service. But my children are still military children. They still deal with, my PTSD, which gives them secondary PTSD and stuff of that nature. So we definitely want to support all families out there, whether they're deployed or abroad here or abroad or still here stationed here because as an infantryman, we might be here in America at our respective base, but we go to the field and we're usually gone 7 days or 11 days. And then we come back, we're home for the weekend. Next week, we're doing it again. So, it always was a strain on families out there. So, definitely want to, support the military child and be thankful for him. I'm even drinking a purple drink tonight because
Oh my goodness.
I went all purple, bruh. All purple.
You can't tell, but my hat's purple. It truly is. I thought this is the lighting in here.
The light. No, so I'm a military child, but fortunately I didn't have to deal with and things like that. But as Willis and most of everybody knows, like my daddy is the reason that I do everything that I do. So I saw some after effects later on in life. And my older brother, little Marcus, when daddy was stationed up in Mass, so his mama was pregnant with him to Germany. And then I think they were back for maybe just a couple of weeks and she ended up having him and then they went right back to Germany. So my brother grew up in Germany his first 5 or 6 years and he remembers quite a bit of it. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy out there. Gunny, you remember when we were in the military, we were taking our little PS2 that we had, the little
PS2, man, it was a friggin', the Atari, if it still worked, it was a Nintendo, it was the Sega, it was the GameCube. It was late 90s, right? Yeah. So it wasn't the friggin' PlayStation, right? I mean, right. But we had that one that we got in Japan, right? Yes. Before it was released here in the States, we got that Japanese one, that was, we got at the store down there in Naha or Nago or whatever when we were in Okinawa. But when we came back is when, I think that year later is when they released it in the States. Yeah. So we had, the PlayStation, then, but that was like 99, 2000. Right. But yeah, I mean, we all had some type of gaming something, right?
Right. So one of the, Ghost Recon was one of the bigger games at that time that we played, being veterans or being our military service members. That's games that we kind of gravitated to, that and Madden, but most of the time we would be playing Ghost Recon. And they came out with several different games within that.
Well, the whole Clancy line, right? They had the Rainbow Six, they had the Ghost Recon, they had some of the other ones, and I can't remember which one it was, but there was one. There was one that you could have the headset and you could be like, form up on me, and your little 3 dudes would come and form on you, and you could give a little brief, and they'd go do their thing. And yeah, I mean, I've gotten away from it for the most part. I mean, I still, rip up some Fortnite every now and again with the boys and NASCAR. Pull out the steering wheel and the pedals and go at it, but it's not like a must-do thing. I mean, there are other things
with our schedules, how busy we are. It's kind of hard. Like I'll play like COD Mobile because it's easy and it's on my phone. If I'm somewhere and I'm bored, I'll open it up and I'll play it. But tonight's guest, he was the lead writer for Ghost Recon Wildland and Ghost Recon Breakpoint. He also worked to help create the Clancyverse, where all of Ubisoft's Tom Clancy brands, Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, Splinter Cell, and The Division, all existed in the same story universe.
Yeah,
which is super cool. And then now they've branched out and created Oh Glory Studios. And now they have a game called Victory's Grave Outflanked, which if you watch the beginning of the episode, that was a snippet, that 44-second snippet of the game, them beta testing it and everything, which I think is super cool. I'm probably going to look into either downloading it for a PC or maybe look into Xbox or whatnot to get that and play it and see what it's all about. So why don't you introduce our guest, Gunny, who's coming up?
You want me to do it so you don't screw up his last name. Yeah, we have Louis Milano coming on tonight. He is currently living in Western Maryland-ish. Population-wise, we'll say it's Western Maryland. But no, excited to have him on tonight to talk about what his military career and how he got to where he is today, and what's coming up for Old Glory Studios for sure.
I
Awesome.
am pretty sure you just pulled a Willis. I'm going to guess before it, like, because I saw his face. Is it Manalo? And there we go. Louis Manalo is coming on.
All right, so let's bring him up on the stage.
Hey guys, thanks
Welcome,
for
sir.
having me.
How are you?
I'm doing well. So yes, and I grew up in Western Maryland. Well, what we're called Western Maryland, Frederick. But now I live in North Carolina. So
That's right, because he said he was in Raleigh.
yeah.
Raleigh, Durham area.
Yeah.
No, so welcome to the world of Homefront Sit Rep. I know you're used to, like the Clancyverse and all of that, but this is the world of Homefront Sit Rep, and we're honored to have you here. For one, you are a combat veteran, and you have a major role in some of the games that I kind of grew up with in the 90s. That you worked on with lead writing and stuff. So why don't you do me a favor and introduce yourself to the world of Homefront Sit Rep?
Yeah. So my name is Louis Manalo. I'm currently the executive producer at Old Glory Studios, which is an independent game studio based in North Carolina. I served in the 82nd Airborne as a combat engineer. I took part in combat operations for Operation Enduring Freedom 1, 2, and 3. So that's the early 2000s. And yeah, I've worked in the video game industry for about 10 years now. I've been lucky enough to work on Tom Clancy games like the Ghost Recon franchise. I've also done some work for like Dying Light 2, which is that like parkour zombie game. And some other good titles. Like I did some work on this game Exoborn, which is coming out later this year as well. So, yeah.
So what was your MOS in the Army?
I was a combat engineer. So in the Army, it's 12 Bravo. Might have changed it to like 21 Bravo or something. But basically going out looking for landmines.
Nice.
So, but yeah, in Afghanistan, it was actually like a pretty pertinent job. So it dug up or not really dug up, but searched for landmines, blew up a lot of weapons caches. They blew up like tons of weapons. So, but yeah,
that's awesome. So so what I get from that being an infantryman is you got to blow shit up. That's
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's what it is. And then if there are landmines, like you guys hung back while we went out and made sure you didn't blow up.
Yeah, I mean the Poprod out there with you.
They missed 2 on my end.
Oh, that sucks. Sorry about that.
But no, man, it's super cool. How here you are, you served your country, and then you got done with that. What got you into creating video games?
Sure. So actually, I enlisted after I'd already graduated college. So my career before going into college, I was already working in film and doing some writing. But I lived in Jersey City at the time. Like most of my work was out of New York City. So where I lived in Jersey City, I literally watched, the World Trade Center fall right outside my window, and it's, the war had hit home, so that was why I served. And I did those 3 years with a couple deployments. And then when I got out, basically tried to get back into what I was doing. It took a little bit of time, as I'm sure you guys probably know, and a lot of your listeners who are veterans know. Like it takes time to kind of get back to the life that you had, or even, and especially like in New York City, veterans are pretty rare, so there are a lot of there are a lot of things that come along with that, like when you're looking for work. And even at one point when I lived in San Francisco, I just took my military service just off my resume so I could get any kind of work, But, like I eventually did get, I was producing documentary films, but it's still writing. So just after I'd produced a couple films that were in South America in the Amazon jungle, I'd also written a play that was about a handful of soldiers who were like stranded on a mountaintop in Afghanistan. And an old friend of mine came and saw a reading of the play, and a few months later he called me up and was like, "Hey, I'm working on this Tom Clancy game, Ghost Recon. You want to come and write with us?" And basically, I just haven't left. Like it's the work can be really taxing. It can be difficult at sometimes, like anybody's work, but it's just the audience, the players are just really great. They really make it worth it for me.
So we got a question out here. This is so this is Ty Cobb. He was with Triple Threats Vet podcast. He goes, "Who you with?" I served with 2nd ENBN out of WSMR Afghan 2010 through 2011.
All right, so I was in the 307th Engineering Battalion, and I mean, again, I was in Afghanistan 2002, 2003. But yeah, then it was weird. Like this was before they had the battalion structure thing. I don't even understand how that works. But basically the engineers were always together in our own unit, and we'd be tasked out to like the different infantry battalions that they had in the 82nd. So,
nice.
But they changed that a couple of years after I left, or maybe the year after I left. So it's hard for me to understand like how it's organized now. But
yeah, that's how it was for the Marine Corps too. They would get attached to a unit and then deploy with them, because as a whole, them deploying as a battalion doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right?
Yeah,
so they would get individual augment to the regiment or the battalion that was forward.
Yeah. I miss the military, but then again, I don't miss the military.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I mean, I love the camaraderie, the brotherhood that we had when we were there. But I really don't miss the stress of, you walking 25 miles with a 60 to 80 pound rucksack on my back and carrying my M16 or my 203.
Just three more clicks.
Do I?
3 more clicks.
Yeah, right.
Just right around the corner. Just right around the corner. We heard that many a times, didn't we, Sam?
Yeah, especially with the one company commander we had.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I could walk 3 clicks with that loadout I had then. So like today. So
there's no way.
My body wouldn't handle it.
Young.
Yeah, I just had a total knee replacement. There's no way I could do it now.
Yeah. How much of your experience did you bring into your writing when you're doing the games?
So I tried to bring as much as possible. I mean, part of it is also, at the core of it is just trying to represent whom soldiers and, Marines, who military people are, who service people are. Because a lot of it, there's just a lot of stereotypes. Like there tend to be in media, you're either Captain America or you're the Punisher. Right.
Yeah.
And nobody's really either of those, and nobody really wants to be either of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like even now, because I'll still do some freelance writing because, people know my writing, so they'll reach out to me, but then they'll ask me to write some of the most stereotypical things, like it very often it's just like, well, these are like really professional, like high tier, like soldiers, so they just talk like robots, It's just like, damn,
they don't
met any operators, man?
No, they talk like we're talking right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So
yeah, they talk like that in the movies only.
And that's the thing. So I definitely try to bring a lot of that. So a lot of I definitely got a lot of freedom writing Ghost Recon Wildlands in terms of that. So the characters are really human. If you talk to people who are fans of the franchise, even if they didn't like the writing, they'll be able to quote it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something I really like. But then, there's still. It's interesting too, because when you have to write for a game, again, like as you guys know, even from like the early Rainbow Six games. The way that the games are designed, for a lot of reasons, it can't be realistic. You can't have realistic tactics, right? But at the same time, it's like you have to try to write dialogue which can fit a situation where, somebody in one fight might actually throw 40 grenades. You know what I mean? And they can't just say frag out every time, because then that'll just get really annoying to the player, you know? So you have to come up with 40 different ways to say something that you only properly say one way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so there's definitely a lot of adjustments that need to get made, but I try to like start it from something that's at least a little bit based in reality, and then I can kind of go like fun with it, So.
Yeah, like here's the pitch, boom,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
home run.
Yeah, no, like I was writing a few things when it was opening weekend, so there are a whole lot of baseball references got put into one thing I was writing. So hopefully they get staying there. But it's like, yeah, here's some chin music for you.
Yeah.
So being involved in player versus player shooter games that are semi-realistic to military service, can you talk about like the highs and lows of being in the gaming industry, creating those games?
Well, again, like I said, a lot of it is just the stereotypes that you're trying to deal with. And then, I mean, it's been a difficult couple of years for the game industry in general. I think it's at this point, it's kind of in like mainstream news. But like a lot of bigger companies that have been around for a while have had trouble the last couple of years. A lot of studios have been laying people off. But just in terms of, but again, like I've always been freelance. Well, not always, but I've mostly been freelance in my work. And I think that's probably where a lot of the industry is kind of going. And I've met other veterans who kind of prefer working for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're definitely like corporate culture is very different than military culture, or just civilian culture in general. And it was funny. I was having a discussion with someone the other day. She was talking about a veteran, and she was like, "Yeah, he gets really upset if you don't email him back right away. So just be aware of that." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's totally like a military thing. Like if you don't email somebody like day of or at least the next day, then they think you're like screwing around, So yeah, like there are a lot of little things like that that's often difficult to kind of I guess kind of translate or try to deal with, I guess, just like in any other workplace. So
Yeah.
So we got a question here off of TikTok from Vet Nation Cards. He's asking, will we see any new releases soon?
Well, from my studio, Old Glory Studios, we're still pre-alpha, really. So that the footage that you showed at the beginning, that's all like, it's basically like a rough draft, really. Like it's from the first playable prototype, really, but it was just so fun we had to share it, like, and that's what you want with a with any kind of prototype. Like if it wasn't fun, then we just start from scratch, you know what I mean? So and that's how early, just to give you an idea of how early a draft it is, like it is, any first playable prototype should be like cheap enough and like done quickly enough that you can just scrap it if you need to, right? But this one, we're fortunate, like we found it to be really, really fun. So the mechanics of the game, I'm just going to call it Outflanked because it's easier to reference that way. It starts out in kind of it's round based, but it's 5 versus 5. And each round begins with like what we call the staging phase. We're in this kind of overhead view. And from there, then you have like a budget for like, okay, I'm going to put a trench here. I'm going to put a mortar pit here. I can put up some barriers here. And then after like 90 seconds, each side goes into this first person point of view that most of that footage was. And then like one side basically tries to capture the objective from the other side who's defending it. And at that point, it kind of becomes like football, where one side's offense, one side's defense. And then if, the offense actually captures the objective, then you switch sides, But one of the cool things that we have is that it's not completely, but it's a really destructible area, like environment. So you can like just completely destroy buildings, and then so we'll go through like 3 rounds and the entire, and it stays, it persists. So like the entire like town could be destroyed, but then you could build more trenches and stuff. So every time you play, you can conceivably make it look completely different. So
nice. So If somebody wanted to be like a beta tester for the game, because I know you're going to have beta testers
Sure.
soon,
Yeah.
how would somebody go about becoming a beta tester for your game?
Sure. So again, it's still pre-alpha, but we are having a little bit of limited testing. But the best way to get involved is to join our Discord. I'll make it easy. People can go to our website, which is www.oldglorystudios.us. And then there'll be links to our socials there, including our Discord.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's like a growing community that we have right now. A few veterans there as well. And honestly, this is one of the things, you talked again about how you missed having that camaraderie with people. Like, one of the things that I found, like, through developing this game in particular, is just that there are a lot of gamers who are veterans who like gaming with other veterans, so they get that same kind of reference. So there are even like Discord servers out there which are just or mostly anyway veterans, and then they might play different games together and stuff. But yeah, and it's cool. It's cool to find that kind of veteran gamer community out there. So
yeah, and there's still a lot. I mean, I know when my son was playing early on some of the stuff that he plays, he was always running into guys that served in one community or another, right?
Mm-hmm.
On, hey, Dad, do you know this guy? Do you know this guy? I'm like, yeah, I know him. Why? So, well, he just invited me to play. So he was playing with guys that I served with, or guys that I met after service, through different nonprofits that were playing the same game that he was, and yeah. So I mean, he's getting into it and trash talking them as much as they're trash talking him, and everything else. So it's a great experience for him too, because he's like, Dad, how realistic is this? I'm like, just play the game.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into
Exactly.
this with you. We'll talk about this afterwards, but just play the game.
Yeah.
Go out, have fun. You can regenerate. You can go back in and play the game.
Yeah.
If something happens to you in real life, you're not going back in and playing the game.
You're not just wait a couple minutes and your health bar goes back.
Right. You don't magically take a Band-Aid and hey, you're healed, or drink a blue drink and you have stuff that protects you. You know what I mean? It's not like you're out there slamming rippets just to gain your health back.
Probably have the opposite effect. Nice.
So let's talk about funding for the game, because I know that's something that every developer of video games has to come up with funding. Let's say somebody wanted to help, raise funds to help, get the game into next stages or whatever. Not is that something that you guys are looking for, or is that maybe something down the line?
Well, actually, right now we have what's called a Reg CF open. It's basically it's equity crowdfunding. So, whereas a Kickstarter or something, you basically are pre-buying the game or other perks that come along with that. With this, you're actually getting you will get the game and other perks as well, but you're actually getting equity in the company. So there are a lot. It's really highly regulated because it's new. Like, people really only been using this since probably about 2016, and it's mostly small businesses who've been doing it. But a lot of games will do it, and there's a site WeFunder or Start Engine that people use. We're using this site Fola Capital, which actually focuses on veteran-owned businesses. So you can either check out their website, or if you go to our website again, oldglorystudios.us, there are links there as well, so you can find out more. But again, if people want to get more involved as well, like just come talk to us on Discord stuff. We're there all the time. My co-founders almost always on there and stuff. So.
Nice. Yeah, Discord is one of those good platforms, especially for gamers out there. That a lot of gamers know exactly what Discord is. I have a Discord. I've used it a few times for some of the games that I played, back in the day, like Steel Avengers and stuff like that. And it's good for gamers. And then the veteran community, there's a lot of veteran Discord channels out there Because like if TikTok goes away or if another platform goes away, everybody can go to Discord because Discord's been around for a while. So that's it's cool that you guys are on there, and I'm probably going to wind up joining the server sometime tonight or the next few days, just so I can follow along the journey.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. All three of you should please join. Like it's, we like giving our updates there first. Like we do have a newsletter as well, but it's better if you're there. And then just talk to us, just meet us, and the other people working with us as well.
Yes. So your partner, he's a veteran as well, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. He was in Third ID, took part in the invasion in Iraq. We actually met while both working in games. So we've been working in games for a while. He worked on the Division 1 and 2. Like those are kind of the biggest titles that he's worked on. But yeah, we met while working together at a studio in Sweden, actually.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So once this game is done, once you create this game, right? You plan on, I'm sure that you've already thought of your next game that you're probably going to wind up creating. How important to you for like your studio brand to have combat veterans creating these games?
I mean, for us, it's absolutely important, like a lot of again, like it is, of course, in this field, it's kind of rare, honestly. Like if another developer finds out I'm a veteran, they just like reach out to me on LinkedIn right away. They're just like, there's another one. There's a few of us, and which is kind of, it's really ironic because, like this is what like the video game industry has been representing us like in the pop culture for like decades and decades, but we've barely been part of the conversation, So that's one of the things that it's definitely important to me. Or if not actual veterans, like one of the writers we're talking to work with, his father was served. You know what I mean? So he knows it from like that child, as from being a military child. So there's definitely parts of the culture, and that it's. Yeah, like it always just kills me every time when there's like, yeah, well, you can, like when. So like, I'm just giving this. I told this to John Bernthal's face, but he's the actor who plays the Punisher, right? So the Punisher is definitely one of those veteran characters out there who's like, like in the pop culture right now. It's really he's in a lot of ways he represents veterans to like the mass audiences, right? But then like that Punisher season 2, was that on Netflix or something? Like literally every character on that show was traumatized. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and the guy who was like had the best mental health was like missing a leg. You know what I mean? So like it doesn't help any of us for us to just be portrayed as like either broken or like too rough. You know what I mean? Or just like inclined to violence. So that's why, like, one of the things that people who didn't like the way I wrote Ghost Recon Wildlands, like one of the things they objected to was the humor in it, but that's one of the things that you always forget, or that people don't realize. It is just a bunch of like young people. Like in my experience, it was mostly young guys. You're just like, killing time between like, they're sitting around waiting for their next orders. So of course, you just like joke around,
Yeah.
So.
Heck yeah. Sam with Black Dog Community. The question was asked and answered, but I'll go ahead and re-answer it for you. Go to the website, oldglorystudios.us, and you can see their link to Discord. Click Discord. He's wanting to know, is the server open to the public or is it closed?
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's open to the public. Just message me or just let us know if that link doesn't work or something, like if it expired or something, and we'll get a new one. But it's absolutely open to the public. Not all of the play testing is open to the public yet. But please join. Just join the conversation. Because again, like there will be stuff that we release on there that we don't release to the more general public. So like getting feedback from people who we know are interested in playing this kind of 5 versus 5 game. You know, that really helps. You know, so we get it from the
I
beginning.
think the concept of 5 versus 5, and you have like a battlefield, and here you are blowing up, blowing up buildings and building trenches and stuff like that. I think that's a game that I don't think there is any game out there like that at the present moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the inspiration came from like the old school Rainbow Six Siege, where you will build some kind of things. But that, again, that's like all indoors, right? It's not on these you don't get these long shots where like, yeah, if there's a sniper on my team, we'll tell them, hey, go up to the church tower. You know what I mean? Call out where these guys are moving or where you can like take them out, and as the attacker teams, you can also attack. You can also capture like certain like other positions, so you can like do the flanking maneuver. You know what I mean? So
right.
But yeah, no, it's great, and I think we're still really in the play tests. Some veterans have started to join as well, but a lot of the people playing are they're like. They've specialized, let's say, in just playing PvP games and playing games like Ghost Recon and stuff. So like their tactics will often kind of reflect that game stuff as opposed to something that is more realistic. But I mean, for me, like we'll talk about Fortnite. One of the things that always pisses me off about Fortnite is that you can't actually play the way you would actually shoot.
They got that one idiot always jumping around. You're like, that's not real.
Yeah, or you do the run and then you slide and then you jump and then you run and you slide and you jump. So that was one of the things that always annoys me with those games.
Yeah,
and it's honestly a handicap because it's like you got these habits ingrained into you, and then like I can't do it. Like when you have like AI and you go through the door and like, why is the AI always going in the wrong place?
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, so you're talking about AI within the video games, like COD Mobile. Like, you could tell when a bot is coming to you because they'll start shooting, but they're shooting at a different angle than where you're at, and then all of a sudden they turn and focus right on you, and it's just like, bro, it's a freaking bot. I hate bots in games. I use a lot of times. You can tell a lobby when you get into a lobby if it's going to be full of bots or if it's going to be like real players in there. And it's just like, I wish they would just do away with the AI, the bots altogether, and just let player versus player. That's
yeah.
So yeah,
it's hard. It's hard. So because one of the games I worked on, which was a battle royale called Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. So I don't know if you guys know that it's Vampire the Masquerade. It's like a role-playing game where you get to play as a vampire, right? So it's basically like that, that movie Underworld.
Yeah,
it's basically that movie Underworld basically copied this RPG, right? So there's a battle royale version like that, and that's where I learned that you really have to bring in bots sometimes, just so that people don't have to wait a long time
to fill the lobby.
Game. Exactly, they got to fill the lobby. So without the bots, you might be waiting for like hours, because that's just how like the timing works between games and stuff. So
sorry. Go ahead, Candace.
Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
So can you like build your perfect team and the 5 of you go in, or is it just you get in the lobby and it's four other randoms? Or
okay, so one of the things that we're trying to do that's different. So he's actually come on as like onto our advisory board. But there's this guy Mike Rufail. He also goes by the handle Hastro. He was actually a competitive Call of Duty player. He owns this esports team, or is one of the owners of this esports team called Team Envy. So he's been giving us a lot of input and advice about, and it was already a direction we were going, but we're going to focus on building the team inside the game, So like, for example, we will have a subscription service, like it'll be pretty cheap and it'll have like, vanity items and stuff, but it's a team subscription. So it could be like, all right, so Willis will get the subscription and then he'll invite Samuel and Candace and me to join it, right? So then whenever we log in, we'll be on like Team Willis, right? So that's one of the things we're trying to do differently, because otherwise, you're always like end up like sticking with randoms, or it's just like, even in something like Roblox, it's like hard to coordinate with all your friends to get everybody on the same server.
Yeah.
Whereas this, we're really trying to focus on getting it in the game itself, because it is 5 versus 5. And, like if you play with people who like are used to playing with each other, it's a completely different game,
Right.
So, but yeah, so that's really one of our major things that we're really pushing for sure. So, yeah.
Candace, what was your question?
So, just and this has been light and good, and I love like what we're doing here. I have a question though, and focusing on our veterans and the people that are watching and asking about joining this Discord, and then potentially going in and wanting to play these games.
Sure.
Because the games that you're talking about, that you're writing and creating, you're trying to bring a little more real life to it. The conversations, the words, things like that. Have you, because you said there's a few other veterans and things like that on there and playing, and where is there any type of concern of triggers? And the reason I have a friend who might be watching, but his nephew was huge into gaming and, the fighting games and stuff, and kind of took that and went into the military and is now back and is a hermit and extremely isolated because of the things that he experienced. So I'm wondering, like, with that being his life before that, is that something that maybe would that be smart to go back into because of the traumas, or is that something that is there disclosures like, hey, trigger warnings or something like that with it being real life?
Well, again, like it's absolutely like a big concern. Of course, like we're here to, like, one of our missions as a studio is to honor veterans, right? But part of that is giving them a community as well.
Right.
And again, that's one of the things that we're really like that we've discovered. Like there are a lot of veterans out there who really like games, and they want a game that they can kind of come to as a community. And obviously there are other Discords and stuff for veterans as well, but that's one of the things. It's just nice to have, a group of people that, you can just chat with online. That's one of the benefits that is one of the great things in Discord, actually. It's just how, it is a group setting as well. And thankfully it hasn't happened on our server, but I've seen it on other servers where a veteran will come on and be like, hey, I just need somebody to talk to right now.
Right.
Things are just kind of rough. It's not like an emergency, but I just want to talk. And then like somebody will just come on and be like, yeah, man, I'm here. Just,
so even like just not playing the game, like it's a great, of course, it's great to have that camaraderie and that safe place, I guess. I was just out of curiosity, it made my mind wonder, okay, so if
absolutely. Because it is like in an ideal world, these kind of things will end up growing outside of, just the Discord as well.
Sure.
Because
I get drawn to it with it having, veteran founders, and that is something, especially with it being such a rarity in that industry.
Yeah,
like for them to draw to that would be idea, especially on a board on a community.
No, absolutely. Because again, like at some points, I mean, this is like, big dream type, like moonshot kind of goal, like, but like there are, live events for a lot of games, like for Call of Duty and things like that. So like we would love it if we could get to a point where we can have like live events, for these like tournaments or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat. Getting together with a lot of the gamers that are out there that's playing the game and seeing the different styles and how they play it, because everybody plays games differently.
Yeah.
And I'm going to piggyback off kind of what Candace was saying about trigger warnings in the games. We as veterans, we know what triggers us. So if
not everybody does.
Well,
so
not everybody. Okay, so not everybody.
You have to know what your triggers are first and foremost, right? So, and I'll tell you right now, for me, it's different. It's not the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Sometimes it's a smell. Sometimes it's a sight. It depends on where I'm at, my mood wise, how tired I am, how pissed off I am. It varies. So you have to know, as the person who's going into this game, what your triggers are, right? So playing any of these games that I've played with my son, I've not been triggered by any of the games, no matter how high I have the sound or anything.
Yeah.
But let thunder hit right now and watch me mess all over myself, right? Or a door slam, or just the smell of something rancid burning, right? Or hair burning. I'm going to be triggered, right? So playing the games I have not been,
Yeah.
not saying that somebody can't be, but you have to know what your triggers are going into something like this.
I mean, that's part of, having that Discord and that community is if you are, then you have some great people behind you that are there if you need them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy on TikTok right now. His Lucky Joseph is his name. He's a combat vet. He said you're definitely going to have an 18 plus warning for sure. Then he says he plays with a ton of vets, plays video games with a ton of vets.
Great.
And then sometimes you got vets that live alone and don't have the person they can reach out to. So talking about the Discord and being able to reach out to veterans, because I know like with Black Dog Community, with Vet Nation Cards, their Discord servers, if somebody's having a bad day, they just reach out there on the Discord server and say, hey, I'm having a bad day. And normally there's somebody there within like seconds of them posting that and able to talk through that. And then Albert Hero says, if a game triggers me, I just won't play that game. And the more realistic the game, the more, the more it could possibly trigger. But that's where, your warnings come out, your warning labels on the game before, possible triggers and, so no, man, I love it. I'm like I said, I'm definitely going to join your Discord because I'm interested. I'd love to be a beta tester in the future when you get to that point. And then question here, has Old Glory considered making a TikTok account and sharing what they're doing on there?
We've thought about it. Right now, most of our socials are focused on, other than the Discord, it's focused probably mostly on Instagram and Facebook. And a lot of that's just because that's where our personal networks are. And when we're starting out, that's what we were building off of, we're also on Twitter as well. It's in terms of the TikTok, it hasn't really been on our radar, mostly because I don't know, maybe you guys can correct me, but I understood it to be mostly younger people on there,
So TikTok has a wide variety. Okay. So there are a lot of younger people on different. So there's Meal Talk, there's Vet Talk, there's so like on the Vet Talk that I go in. Granted, it's just straight TikTok, but once you get in there, the algorithm kind of only filters like people that like-minded people like you are, like videos that you watch and stuff like that. So like there's a whole veteran community on there that's doing amazing things. So if you get on there and you create a TikTok, and you start posting all the video game like screenplays and stuff like that, then you're going to get a bunch of gamers, but we can also bring you into the veteran side of things as well, and you'll see a lot of the veterans. So if you do decide, just let me know, email me, and then I'll get you connected that way.
All right, sounds great.
So that answers your question there, Sam. And then I hear you, Frank. Frank is a Army veteran as well, who wrote a book called A Vital Interest, and he's in chat saying, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Old people don't like video games.
So there was a question on TikTok. So is there going to be a way to keep the younger generation, so let's say 18 younger, from playing the video game? Is there a way to do that? Because a lot of times, like when you're playing COD and stuff like that, you'll get these young kids in there playing and they're really rude and disrespectful.
So the plans we have for the game is that it will be a game you have to buy, and like it will be cheaper than buying the latest Call of Duty Black Ops or something, because it is just going to be the PvP. But we're thinking something like $30. Don't quote me on that. That's just the kind of thing that we're aiming for. And that helps in a lot of different ways, because then, if people are cheating or if there's like behavior that's going on that shouldn't be going on, it's easier to ban people that way, as opposed to like if it's free, then like people who cheat or who ban, they can just create another account, and then they're playing again,
Right.
So that's really kind of our main thing. That's our main kind of barrier right now. So, and it's, we're hoping like any reasonable like business person does, that we hope we're gonna deliver more value to you within $30. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, like it's kind of the price that we all have to pay because of cheaters and people who are kind of misbehaving on there. So yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, Candace.
For gaming ignorant minds like mine and old men like Frank, what is PvP?
It's player versus player.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Rather than a single player game. So like Zelda would be like a single player game. You just play an adventure on your own.
Mario.
Yeah.
Is single player.
I know.
Yeah, but Mario Kart is player versus player. So.
Right.
Okay. Where you can have. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
I never was a big gamer. I played.
No. I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing because you said and old people like Frank.
Well, Frank called himself old. He said, "Old people don't like video games." And Frank knows I love him.
Shoot.
So
I could say Marines like Willis, but apparently he knows what PvP means.
I do know what P versus B is. Yeah,
that's
so
because
is my now 24-year-old
doesn't work for him.
Casey Cobb. He used to go by the gamer tag. Birthday, loves these games. These games have been a part of my household for better or worse.
Better or worse. Yep. No, like anything.
I love it.
Well, and it's worse. Yeah. It's worse here because around 5 o'clock, all the animals in the house go crazy because they know they need to be fed. Well, one of my sons will be in here on the computer, and then the other son will be out on the PlayStation, and my wife would be like, "Pause the game."
Yeah. No, it's all right. Then they're like, in the middle of the round, Mom. Victory Royale.
I tell my wife that all the time. I'm like, I'm playing COD, sitting on the couch. She goes, just pause it. I'm like, I can't pause the game. So usually I'll try to find a place to hide where nobody's going to find me. Usually by the time I come back, I'm dead.
Why can you not pause it?
Because it's live. You're live playing. Like so right now.
If you're out into a lobby or something, go put yourself in a lobby so nothing happens to you.
You kick yourself out of the game if you do that.
Yeah. So it's like you're in a basketball game and your mom shouts out to you, "Hey, you got to do the dishes."
Yeah.
Mom, we're winning.
Right?
It's like you sprained your ankle and go to the medic and get back out there and listen to Mom.
Yeah. No, you can't do that when you're doing a battle royale or a multiplayer game. You can't pause it. It's like there's just not pausing to it. So
so I don't know. So what I try to do in my household, because again, like I make these things for a living, so I make sure I limit the amount of time my kids play a day on this stuff. Like a lot of people, my kids are still kind of a little on the younger side, so I'm like 2 hours and that's it.
So can't you do like an intermission? Like create a game that has intermissions.
Well, our game is going to have rounds, so I don't know if you can take out the garbage or do what your mom says in 90 seconds, then you'll be all right.
So, hey, Willis, who's posted on Triple Threat? Is it Ty?
It's Ty, yeah.
So he made a comment here that he was born in the 70s and loved games since Pitfall. I specifically went and bought the new Atari that has all the games built in when they put Pitfall on it to have that game.
Do they have Pong?
I can't make it past the first damn alligator anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a skill that dies.
And he even brings up Contra. Now that was a single player game.
Oh yeah.
Pause, but
but up, down, down, left, right, BABA, start. Boom, 30 life. Bam, get it.
Everybody knows it. Yeah.
Yeah,
man. No, Lewis, man, this has been awesome. I love being able to talk to you and learn what you're doing. I mean, it's super cool. And like absolutely. I said, I'm going to join your Discord server. There's other people that's already joined already. I'm sure Ty, if he's not done it, he's probably going to join Discord as well. No, I'm excited to see this game develop because it's not released yet.
Yeah.
So one of the questions is when will this game be released? Because some people has already added it to their, I think they said stream or
The Steam wish
Steam.
list.
Steam.
Yeah. So please, yeah. If you're on Steam, please wish list it. So our goal for release is to get it into early access release, which is kind of like for Candace and other people who aren't gamers. Early access is kind of like a rough draft of the game. It's not going to be the full release, so it won't have the full polish or the full or even necessarily all the features that we aim to have. But a lot of that's for reasons so that you can test it with like the public as well. So basically anyone will be able to buy the game, for a discounted price and then play it and then give feedback. But we're really hoping to get there in a year's time. There are a lot of things that need to happen for that to happen. So we want to get a publisher for the game, because that's their specialty is releasing games.
Yeah.
And especially a PvP game. Like if you don't get a big release for a PvP game, you will just be getting into lobbies and hanging out with bots. You know what I mean? But then to get to attract a big publisher, we need to have a very strong what's called a vertical slice, which is the next step of the game that we're building. Basically, it's just to make it look good. We're trying to get the art there. So for that, that's one of them. That's kind of our next goal with the kind of equity fundraising that we're doing right now.
Awesome.
So yeah.
See, that's why I love Frank.
So Frank says, if you want to beta test it on old people, let me know. I just got to figure out where the NE key is.
Yeah.
Man, now this has been super, super, super cool. Been a fun episode. I can't thank Sean Walsh from Uber Strategist PR team for reaching out and saying, hey, we got this guy that we think would be great for your show, because I think there's a lot of people within TikTok and that are watching it live right now that's super excited to see this game. If you didn't catch the first clip of this episode, make sure once we go off air to go back and watch the beginning, because you'll see part of the beta testing that they're doing with the game, and you'll be able to see it. And I'm sure graphics is going to change over the course of the next 6 months to a year before you release, because everybody, you're beta testing. You don't want to put high graphics in there at that time. So
yeah, I mean, it's exactly so many things can change. We're not going to spend a lot of money on something that to make it look good when we might just throw it out. Like if people decide, if players are like, well, this is stupid, I don't want this. You know what I mean? They're like, all right, fine, we'll get rid of it.
So one last question.
Sure.
Is it going to be available just for PC, or is it going to be available for all platforms, all gaming platforms?
So right now, all we have planned is PC. We'd love to be able to get it on all the platforms. At this point, it looks like it could even be playable on Switch 2. But it's one of the things that they don't actually talk about a lot is that it's expensive to actually get on these other platforms.
Yeah.
So just like PlayStation itself, which like I play on PlayStation most of the times, but to get a game on PlayStation, if PlayStation doesn't own your studio, PlayStation needs to review your game, and that costs $200,000. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's just for them to review it. And if you don't pass it, you're going to have to shell out another $200,000 for their next review, right? So for us, $200,000, we could get pretty far with the game development. With that. So right now we're just focusing on the PC release. If the PC release does well, then 100% we're gonna get it on there, because we really just want to give as many players as possible a great time, and while representing veterans in a way that frankly isn't just insulting or demeaning,
Yeah. So another question that just came in on TikTok is, are we allowed to advertise on our TikToks? So basically they want to advertise Old Glory Studios on their TikTok.
Yeah, no, please do. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to spread the word about us, let people know about us, absolutely. I definitely appreciate it.
So it sounds like you definitely need to get a TikTok account for Oak
Yeah.
Studios.
It certainly sounds like that. We have a new community manager. Like I've been doing all the socials for like a little while, and I stink at it, because I'm probably old like Frank. Well, Frank's on TikTok apparently, though, right? So
Willis can do it, and he ain't some young teenager.
all right. So
you
yeah,
can play games like you can do TikTok. I promise.
Yeah,
right,
it's TikTok is easy. It really is, and like I said, it just when you get in there, we have to make sure you stay away from the young punks. There are a bunch of them. There is a bunch of
troublemakers out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whippersnappers causing
For
trouble.
sure. But anyway, thank you for coming on and hanging out with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I really
is there
enjoyed it.
anything that we didn't touch on before we drop you in the green room?
No, just like thanks for having me. Again, please visit the website, scrolling along the bottom of the screen, and there you'll find links to our Discord, all our socials, and if you are inclined to support us, like you can find information there too, and we 100% appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Go follow them on Discord. Go follow them on Facebook. Any other platform they're on.
TikTok's coming soon.
Don't worry. Soon you can ask Ty if he's still in here. He joined TikTok, and within like 30 days he had 1,000 followers. So
and he was born in the 70s.
Trust me.
Well, I was too. So
hey, easy on that, Candace.
Yeah.
Hey, he said it. It's all out there in the comments.
Definitely go follow Old Glory Studios on all platforms out there. Join the Discord. Go to oldglorystudios.us and you can see all of their socials there. Make sure you go follow them. Go share the word. Spread it with your friends, family, whoever wants to listen. Go spread it. But Lewis, if you want to hang out in the green room while we wrap up, and then we'll talk some more right at the end after we end up the show.
All right. Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Look, Deeds.
How super cool was that?
I gotta justify this. It was really super cool. I loved it. It was a whole totally different dynamic. But here's what it is. I am freaking out. I am freaking out because in 14 days, I'm going to join the rest of you old fogies, and I'm going to be 40. I am not happy about it. I'm stressing about it. And so if somebody is saying something about their age, I'm like, let's go. I'm with it. My dad, look, Frank, my dad was talking about earlier. That's what he said. They had Pong.
Yeah.
Go easy on me.
No, I'll be 40. I'll be 47 in July. So.
I'll never catch up to you.
No. But no, that was super cool. I can't wait to see the game come out, and definitely, if I can be a beta tester for it, I definitely want to be a beta tester. And I know there's a lot of veterans like Lucky Joseph and Sam with Black Dog Community and Vet Nation Cards. And there's a lot of veterans out there. Lita, she just joined in TikTok as well. And yeah, we'd love the beta test. So join the Discord server, go to oldglorystudios.us and go join the Discord server, go follow them on Facebook and all of that. Go check them out. So it's super cool. I'm excited. And yeah, it's about that time of night. Gunny, let it. All right. So we'll go Gunny first.
Yeah, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. Don't let the dark days win.
Candace, you're up.
Someone stranger. I always say I never meet one. Sometimes people just need to talk. Let them talk. But be prepared for it.
And what we mean by be somebody stranger, we as
just
humans,
cut you off. He said, "Screw it."
I did.
You're done. You're done.
You're done. What we mean by be somebody stranger, look, we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So, if you're out and about and you see somebody and they look like they're having a bad friggin' day, go up there, be an ear for, listen to them, and then, you ask them how they're doing. And they say, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm hanging in there." Ask that next hard question. How are you really doing? But you got to be ready for that conversation. Could be a 5-minute conversation, could be a 5-hour conversation. You just got to be ready for it. And then I want to thank our partners. Let me take that off. Reese Across America Radio. The link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, reaseacrossamerica.org/radio. You can find Homefront Sit Rep there on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, we got it right.
I got it right. I've been practicing since
You had to have been practicing all weekend.
Do it again.
He didn't go to church today. He just sat there and said Eastern all day long.
all day long. All day long. So go check us out on Reese Across America Radio Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern.
That was harder.
No, I wanted to enunciate it a little bit better. And then go check out our website, homefrontsitrep.com. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there. I've been working very diligently on it, and man, it is friggin' phenomenal. You could see all of the nonprofits that we've had on, all the veteran businesses, everything. There's merchandise. There's 2 shirts on there. One is the Marine It Down shirt, which you can get on sameflagsameoath.com, co-branded. So there's a link from our website right to sameflagsameoath.com. And then our other shirt, which is on 22too-many.printify.me, is also on there. We got a couple more shirts coming up. One's going to be.
I need it in a hoodie.
Which one? Which one do you need in a hoodie?
The Homefront Sit Rep from 22 Too Many. I need it in a hoodie.
All right, so I will get with Miss Cade and we will make that happen. So yeah, go check out our website, homefrontsitrep.com. We're going to have Oh Glory Studios uploaded on there tonight. I will have them added on there underneath the veteran businesses. So go check out our website for sure. And let's see, what's the comment here? Brianna, Miss Winters, hashtag be someone stranger. Heck yeah, I love it. I love it. But it is that time of night, and I hate to end it, but it is that time of night. So, like we always say on Homefront Sit Rep, stay safe out there. We got
your 6.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find Homefront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.